Record. So welcome, good afternoon. This is Chamber Music America's 2023 Presenter Consortium for Jazz Program Application Workshop. The application deadline is going to be Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. That allows our folks in the Pacific and on the West Coast to be able to apply within a reasonable amount of time. And it allows extra time after the workday for our folks on the East Coast to get their applications in. The notifications are going to be December of 2022. And Presenter Consortium for Jazz as a program is funded through the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation. So about Presenter Consortium for Jazz, our program provides support to consortiums of 3 U.S. presenters that collectively engage up to 3 professional U.S. jazz ensembles. So in total, a consortium can be up to 3 presenters, up to 3 consortium, or up to 3 ensembles. So a consortium of 6 folks. CMA defines chamber music as music for small ensembles between 2 and 10 musicians, with 1 musician per part, generally without a conductor, and this encompasses contemporary, traditional, jazz, classical, and world genres. So the ensembles can represent in-person concerts, or they can represent streamed performances at each presenter's audience. The incentive funding is available within this program specifically for consortium presenter projects that include 1 or more of the past New Jazz Works grantee ensembles to perform their entire CMA commission. So one of our other programs is New Jazz Works, and we have a slate of grantees who have completed commissions through that program. Presenters who reach out to those particular grantees as part of that process of applying can receive incentive funding if they receive a grant award. And we'll go over the details of what that looks like later on. All grant activities for this project must take place within the US between January 1st, 2023 and June 30th of 2024, so 18 months. Applicants and their primary collaborators, so presenters, ensembles, composers, may be part of only 1 presenter consortium for jazz application per grant period. We have our statement of commitment to diversity, inclusion, and equity. So our board of directors has made a diversity, inclusion, and equity focus for the organization's work, and we've adopted the acronym ALANA, African/Black, Latinx, Asian/South Asian, Arab/Middle Eastern, and Native American for use in our equity focus. And you can read the entire commitment to diversity, inclusion, and equity on our website, or when you receive this presentation, the link will be embedded. So this answers one of the first questions that folks had online. What is a presenter consortium? A presenter consortium is going to be composed of a lead presenter, 2 presenter partners, and 1 to 3 ensembles. Presenters need to be located in the within the US. They can be located in distinct audience communities such as different towns, cities, or regions. And they must present all of the ensembles that are in their application. At least 1 organization, when folks apply, must be a member. Regarding the ensembles in the consortium must be presented by each presenter in the consortium. So since there's 3 presenters, each presenter is going to present that particular ensemble or multiple ensembles. And there can be up to 3 ensembles in a consortium. Regarding the project overall, Concerts that are presented by the consortium don't need to be on consecutive dates. So you don't have to, say, block out a concert weekend, for example. They can happen over a span of time. Um, Alternatively, the concerts can also happen back to back. So it depends on what the consortium agrees upon as they collaborate on their efforts. A collaboration for the consortium, the consortium members can focus on marketing, managing, and presenting the project collaboratively. So those efforts can be shared across organizations, or each organization, each presenter can present individually on that marketing, the management, the presentation of the project on their own. Regarding eligibility, the three presenting organizations in the consortium must be based in the US or its territories, so located in distinct audience communities. And we define that as different towns, cities, or regions. Right? It depends on where in the US you're located. You don't have to be located in the same geographic area. But you do, if you are located in a similar geographic area, you do have to have some distinction within audience communities. You must be a 501c3 organization and show documentation of that status. And finally, you must have no outstanding financial or reporting obligations to CMA or for any prior presenter consortium for jazz grants. Regarding the ensemble eligibility, so jazz ensembles selected by the consortium also must be based in the US or its territories. Same rules, located in distinct audience communities, so different towns, cities, or regions. Must consist of 2 to 10 professional musicians, and student groups unfortunately are not eligible in this regard. They must primarily perform jazz music as one of the multifaceted styles that they do, utilize improvisation as an integral part of composition and performance. So we really are looking for jazz ensembles for this particular grant. We're not looking for groups that use jazz elements necessarily in their music. And jazz ensembles that are selected by the consortium do not have to be CMA members. So what are the funds designated for? Eligible expenses will include the ensemble fees, the in-person concert streaming production costs, that includes the marketing and distribution costs. Also, concert production costs, so lighting, sound, cartage, etc., travel and hotel per diem. What this looks like in terms of a dollar amount, the 2023 program will fund up to 100% of these eligible expenses, and that's up to $10,000 per consortium partner, or $30,000 per consortium total. This does not include the potential for incentive funding, which I'll talk about next. So the incentive funding, and you can look over the table, and I can pull this back up for us when we go to the Q&A section. Consortium presenter projects that include one or more past CMA New Jazz Work grantee ensembles that have completed their grants can receive an additional $1,000 per presenter. The ensembles must perform the commission that they created in their entirety. And in this case, the maximum amount of the request can increase. So you can see, according to the table, if you have one ensemble that is a New Jazz Works prior grantee, right, that looks like an additional $1,000 per presenter. So a total of an additional $3,000. For two, it will be $2,000 per presenter for $6,000, and then three, the $3,000 per presenter for $9,000 extra within that grant as an incentive total. Regarding what applications we can't consider, we don't allow requests for funding for capacity building, private or fundraising events, arts education, or general operating support, although administrative expenses that are specific to this particular project being created by the consortia may be included within that budget. Requesting fees for student musicians, faculties, or administrative staff salaries isn't allowed. Requesting funds for classes or workshops for music students, right? No requesting of recording costs, commissioning fees, artist fees other than those for the ensemble musicians and the guest artists that are being directly worked with for the consortium. And then finally, no applications can be considered from presenters and ensembles on more than one application. So presenters can't be duplicated across applications, and neither can ensembles. Regarding the written application and what we'll be looking for, when you go into the application portal, we'll ask for a description of the organization's mission, the audience, and the budget for the lead presenter and each of the presenter partners. We'll ask for information on the ensembles that your consortium plans to present. We'll ask you to describe what the project looks like overall, who is the audience that you intend to engage, and then finally, how the project will reach diverse communities. We'll also request audio samples. There'll be a section for audio samples to be uploaded. One jazz ensemble audio sample will be required for each ensemble, and you can upload it through the application portal. There'll be that section embedded right within the application. Samples should be up to 5 minutes each, and they can feature the works for the small ensemble, 2 to 10 musicians again. And those samples should demonstrate not only the performance level, but also must feature either the full ensemble or at least 50% of the musicians. So regarding audio, we aren't looking for soloistic works. They're generally not recommended. If there is a duo, duos must submit works with both partners included. The application will be geared to only accept MP3 or M4A file types. If you try to add a different file type, you'll have to resave it. It won't accept a file type other than MP3 or M4A. The samples don't necessarily need to be studio quality, but they should be clear. They should also be representative of the ensemble's performance within the last 2 years. So fairly recent. Longer works can be edited, or you can create an excerpt of longer works that include music from a live concert, a studio or home recording, or a CD or online recording. So to apply, you'll need to create a free submittable account, or you'll need to log into your existing submittable account. You can type directly into the online form, or you can draft your application in an offline document and copy your responses into the online application. Personally, I recommend doing it on the offline document and copy and pasting or dragging and dropping over. And then finally, you would click Save Draft on the bottom of the application as you work to make sure that your work is saved as you complete each section. We only accept online applications via submittable. So we won't accept the applications via email or any other format. You can upload the items in the acceptable file formats in the application, and there's always a notation within the application of what that's going to look like and what file type we're looking for. We do ask that for the sake of review, you follow the following naming scheme for the audio files. It just makes it easier for us on the back end to track things, and for the grant reviewers, which I'll talk about in just a minute, to be able to easily review the files. A complete application will include the complete written application, the audio sample for each ensemble, the consortium budget form, which is built into the application, and then each presenter will need to provide a sample of marketing materials. It can be either a sample of social media, flyers, any sort of digital or print media marketing will work, and then proof of that 501c3 status. Regarding creating a complete application, we do require memorandums of understanding or memos of understanding, MOUs, between each presenter in the consortium and each ensemble. It's some due diligence to make sure that all parties understand the work that they're going to do and how they're going to come together. So if a consortium chooses to work with multiple ensembles, that changes the number of MOUs that you will need as presenters for the completion of the application. So one ensemble should have an MOU from each presenter. So that would be 3 MOUs that you would have. 2 ensembles would need 6 MOUs, 1 from each presenter times 2. And then finally, 3 ensembles would need 9 MOUs. So when you're looking at the MOUs and building them out, you just have to remember that each presenter is going to need an MOU with each ensemble as you do the work together. Once the application is complete, the workflow should look as follows, right? So you want to prepare, upload, click and confirm. So make sure to prepare all of your attachments, use the labeling instructions that are in the application, upload those files, and when the application is complete, you can hit submit. Once you've hit submit, you'll get a confirmation email that's auto-generated, and that will be your email receipt that we received the application on our end. We do recommend that you don't email the auto email that goes out. Your email won't necessarily be lost, but it will get sent back to the same platform that the email was originally sent from for submittable, which means it will take a lot longer for your email to be seen and responded to, rather than if you email myself or you email Susan. Regarding the panel basics, the applications are all reviewed by an independent panel of jazz musician professionals from the US. CMA staff and the board don't participate in the deliberations. The panel will incorporate 2 rounds of review. A portion of recommended applicants is advanced after each round. That panel will take place in December, and likewise, the applicants who become awarded will be notified in December as well. This is a little redundant, but the panel is going to review the same questions that you answer within the application. So that description of the project, how the project's going to contribute to each consortium member's impact in your distinct audience community, whether that's regionally, whether that's at a city level, or whether that's at some other level that sort of marries the 2 of those, right? Some folks will service counties, for example. That would be another regional audience that a particular consortium partner might be reaching out to. You'll want to make sure that you describe how you're reaching out to diverse communities. That's part of what the panel will be reviewing within that. So that includes communities that have been systemically or traditionally excluded in that town, that city, that region for each presenter. Panels will also review why the consortium partners have selected the ensembles, and then what the capacity to carry out the project looks like. So the marketing, the potential dates, the appropriate budget. And part of that will be the examination of that income and expense list that's listed out for each presenter within the budget. The audio sample review is all about artistry and technical ability of the ensembles, and that match between the activities that are planned and the ensemble's music making ability as demonstrated in the audio sample. Regarding scoring, the scoring system looks like 10 for excellent, 4 for good and very good, 1 for non-competitive. Panelists will also be writing notes on their review sheets, and then we work to take that panel feedback, the scores and the notes, and make time to discuss with applicants who aren't awarded after the notifications are made, what those scores look like, what those notes look like, and provide some feedback. For folks who are awarded, we'll contract with and issue payments to each individual presenter. So it'll be one individual contract for each presenter in the consortium. The presenters are responsible for acting as a contact on behalf of their presenting organization to manage and report that grant activity. That includes receiving and managing those funds that will be received, ensuring that the ensembles are paid, filing that final report and any associated documents along the way, including interim reports. And then while we don't ask that every single member be, or every single presenter, I should say, be a member at the time of application, we do request that once you have become a grantee, you join at the organization level if you don't have membership at the time of the application or upon receipt of award. That's also helpful, and there are some benefits to the organizational membership that connect to the grant. So that includes workshops around taxes, around finances in general, marketing, and just overall operations in general. So you'll be able to receive along the way support that doesn't just come from the program officers for this particular grant, but also that come from being a member with CMA. Grant funds are dispersed on an 80-20 split. So 80% of the award is dispersed after signing the CMA grant contract, and then 20% is received after the receipt of that final report. The grant funds are all taxable income, and grantees must comply with applicable city, state, and federal laws, ordinances, codes, and regulations regarding the reporting of the grant funds. Finally, there's some CMA resources that you'll receive both in the email and as the embedded links within this presentation when I email it to everyone on Monday or Tuesday. So that'll include that statement of commitment to diversity, inclusion, and equity, what some of our press room documents look like, and then past grant award recipients. And then finally, my information is located right here. So Jose R. Feliciano, Director of Grant Programs, and I can be found at jfeliciano@chamber-music.org. And I will stop the share. And stop this recording.